country. Namibia, motherland, we love thee. Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. Oh, sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life.
You may sit down, ladies and gentlemen. No, I'm sure, like many of you here today, I'm quite surprised by the weather. I have no idea what's going on in Windhoek that it is so windy. I thought the month of August has already passed, and in terms of the weather, we would really enjoy, nice summer-ish weather. But unfortunately, it is not the case. We have no control over that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation is striving to be the multimedia broadcaster of choice by the year 2020, and that is next year. Now, there were quite a number of digital achievements, such as the transition from analog to digital, and our most recent, the NBC Plus. Now, today we embark in yet again a path that will get us closer to our dream, our purpose. Now, over the years, the MTC and NBC has embarked upon many projects, which is quite significant. Just recently, we witnessed the Namibia Annual Music Awards, where this country has recognized the achievements and the hard work of our local artists. So it just goes to show, for quite some time over the years, the NBC and MTC has brought this absolutely magnificent showcase. But to kickstart this event, we do not want to tell you too much, give you too much detail about why we are here today. I'm sure you would kind of noticed it in the background, but to kickstart this momentous occasion in the history of these two giant companies, let's please welcome the MTC's Chief of Human Capital and Corporate Affairs, Tamikanjo, to do the welcoming.
Director of Ceremonies, thank you very much. I think I have an answer to the wind. When two giant companies that are so strategically placed in the DNA and the history of the country, all that the wind is trying to tell us is that even the weather awaited such a partnership. When we send out the invitations, a lot of people asked me and my colleagues and also the NBC colleagues, what is going to happen? Some suggested that Namibians like suggesting things. Some suggested that MTC is going to buy shares in NBC this morning. A partnership can mean anything, but we will keep you in suspense until the speakers come up and address and tell you why we're here. As I was asked to do the welcoming remarks, I would like to recognize the presence of the MTC board chairperson, Mr. Elvis Nashilonga, and other directors. Also the NBC General, Mr. Similo. We have Dr. Liki Rastas, who's the acting CEO of MTC. And then, of course, the Deputy Minister of ICT, Honorable Navatiseb. I see our colleagues from Telecom Namibia is also here in the front row. I don't know who placed them in the front row. But the reason why we always invite Telecom Namibia is because we recognize where we come from. When the birth of MTC happened, it started from Telecom, and that's why we have no functions without inviting them, so that they can see what this baby has done ever since they released it. So thank you very much for your presence, and also all the invited guests. People always make long speeches when they're asked to do the welcoming remarks. So welcome to everybody, and we are very excited to unveil what this partnership is going to be all about. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Temi Kanjo, MTC's Chief of Human Capital and Corporate Affairs. I really like what you have just done. I'm a strong believer of get to the point, make your point, because in news, that's what we do. We don't waste a lot of time talking about things that are not really that relevant. But let's take some time and relax a bit. We have some few performances also lined up for you. So we'll be taking a break. And now I call upon R&B sensation, local sensation, Sean Kamati, to deliver his performance. Sean, come on.
Good morning. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you, MTC. Thank you, NPC, for having me here. I hope you guys enjoy some soulful music on this windy, maybe summer day, because we don't know what season we're in right now. Let's go. This one is entitled So Bad. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Baby. I'm just trying to call your number. I just want to hear your voice. Yeah. Baby. I got a little news to tell you before anybody else. It's been a long week. Oh, and my soul hurts. Oh, with nothing to show for all the trouble piling up around me. There seems to be some kind of target. I'm being aimed for and getting shot at. But I know the truth is there to tell me just what I need to hear. You're gonna reach out into the darkness and pull me in there. It's been a long time coming now. Your love seems so brand new. I got something to say, and only your ears will do. Baby. I'm just trying to call your number. I just want to hear your voice. Baby. I got a little news to tell you before everybody else, 'cause you're so bad. You're so bad. Yeah, you're so bad. You're so bad. Listen, it's been a long week, and I had enough. Yeah, we run around circles with my hands tied up over this town's hanging some kind of dark cloud in a bathroom. We gotta get up from under it somehow. But when I get home tonight, there's one thing that I know. Yeah, you're gonna reach out into the darkness and pull me into. It's been a long time coming out. Your love seems so brand new. I gotta listen to the cry, and only your ears will do. Baby. I'm just trying to call your number. I just want to hear your voice. Baby, 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 baby. I got a little news to tell you before anybody else. But you're so bad. You're so bad. You're so bad. You're so bad. It's been a long time, but now you know, see, so brand new. I got to listen to the cloud, and only I am with you so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. You're so bad. I just wanna call your number. I just wanna hear your voice, yeah. Baby, 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 baby. I got a little news to tell you before anybody else. It's been a long time coming. You love see you so bad. I gotta listen to the cloud. Only your easy is your so bad.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sean Kay, thank you so much for that performance. And if you've watched the Namas, you would know that Sean was the one who was in the bath tap. No? It was not you. All right. Or the gentleman with the guys with the very hot, sexy white suits, because this is the song that you performed that night of the Namas. Well done, Sean. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let me take the time to introduce to you a gentleman that I've known since I was a rookie at the NBC. I did not necessarily, at the time, report to him directly, but it's such an honor for me to welcome the Director General of the NBC, Mr. Stanley Simila.
It's the summer wind. What a welcome. Good morning to everybody. Let me recognize the presence of our Deputy Minister, the Chair of the Board of Directors of MTC, CEO Dr. Leakey, Executive of the NBC that is around, Penny, where's Tim? From Telkom, I must recognize him, Tim, I hope I'm not in trouble for that. They are key partners as well. And then everybody else that is here, the staff of NBC, the partners that have helped us to have this day. It's a significant day, given that today, once again, with the partnership between the NBC and MTC, we are again just catapulting ourselves into the digital divide. Given that with the evolution of technology and given the history of collaboration that we've been having between the two entities, I think it was just a given that this type of activity would take place. And I take great pride in stating that for the couple of years that I can recall, the relationship between the NBC and MTC has been extremely, extremely strong. When we reach a stage where we could not, from a technological advancement perspective, give what MTC wanted as an entity that has interest in terms of what we do, a discussion started about 3 years back, where we said that in order for us to meet the needs that you have as a serious corporate citizen that takes to heart what Namibians want, we have a particular need. And that need meant that we needed to get hold of an outside broadcast utility that would help us to bring quality productions, quality in terms of visuals and everything. And MTC, through the office of Tim, supported, of course, by the board and the CEO then, said that, no, let those discussions begin. And today now heralds the outcome and the outflow of a process that was not easy, because we needed to balance what we needed to do, but at the same time also react to what the public would want. As you would know, MTC is one of the players that are playing in the broadband space. So there are discussions in that regard as well that would seek to say, how best can we leverage of what broadband can bring to this country? And broadcasting moving into the future will have its tenets embedded within what broadband services will offer. So I'm looking forward to the day where we would have 100% coverage throughout the country, because I already know that from a technological perspective, that will make our lives much, much more easier as the NBC. As we know today, the smartphone has literally taken over the lives in terms of what we do. So that's part of the package that we're hoping that very soon we will get to that as well. And for the VAN in particular, it comes at a time when we as the NBC are facing quite serious challenges. Hence, the collaboration as amplified and shown today shows that it's not everybody who will want to throw the NBC under the bus. There are people who believe that, look, this relationship must remain, and it is as strong as ever. And I think at this point, we need to applaud MTC for that. I normally don't speak long, so today really just belong to those that have made this possible. And I just want to end off by saying, when in leadership, it's never an easy role. When you know that you've got to take decisions that are tough, don't vie for that kind of position. Because if you're aiming to make people happy, just go and sell ice cream. And I'm quoting the great entrepreneur, the guy who founded Apple. Thank you very much.
Well, that certainly is true, Mr. Director General. Running a company like the NBC is not child's play, but I'm sure it's the same as well for telecom as well as MTC. Now, for decades, outside broadcast was and still is a fundamental part of the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation. Since the beginning of television, we've been watching what was known as analog television, signals that are broadcasted using radio waves, but we've passed that era now, and we are now broadcasting digital. But how did the NBC achieve all of this? Let's take a look at this insert, and ladies and gentlemen, as it is customary on television, we first need to go for a commercial break.
SWABC had its humble beginnings at the well-known radio building in Windhoek West in May 1979. It was in that year that the role of radio was cemented in Namibia with broadcasts in 5 languages. With only one channel available, these 5 languages had to share broadcasting hours. By 1987, 8 more languages were added when 9 new channels became available, with coverage reaching the majority, about 65% of the Namibians. In 1983, the SWABC added a television service, which was initially broadcast from a block of flats with storage space on the ground floor in TV Moore Street. Most of the programming was sourced from SABC in South Africa. This changed rapidly when modest equipment were acquired and basic programs could be recorded in humble surroundings. The main purpose of producing programs in-house at the TV Moore premises was to ensure viewers identify themselves with the material being shown based on Namibian lifestyles and a unique Namibian identity. One of the major achievements of the SWABC was the establishment of a satellite in the Northern Industrial Area in 1986 on the not yet completed premises of the new NBC building. In February 1988, they broke ground where the new TV building would be established. At independence in 1990, the NBC started a new era, where it was no longer seen as a small third world broadcaster, but an entity that could compete with the rest of the world. In 2013, NBC finds itself connected to the international world of DTT, housed within the same building that was constructed in 1989. Since then, the face of NBC Cullinan Street offices have changed over the years. In the same manner, the NBC as a broadcasting house has evolved with a view to embrace new challenges and ensure it is always at the forefront of technological development.
We cannot wait to wake up every day, inspired to connect over 2.5 million Namibians, to make them smile, to connect them to the world. We are not just MTC employees, we are ambassadors, passionate about our brand and who we are. We call our offices our homes because here we are a family, full of love and laughter. Our jobs are just a hobby because we have fun every day. MTC is the best university because every day presents an opportunity to learn about the world and ourselves. We do not take this opportunity for granted because we know we are privileged to be ambassadors for Namibia's most passionate brand. We are MTC ambassadors and we love it here. MTC, make the connection.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're still coming to you live. If you just tuned in, our NBC viewers, we're broadcasting live from the Winter Country Club and Resort, where we're about to witness quite a historic occasion. Now, we still have a couple of speakers lined up, but for now, some more entertainment. And we welcome quite an award-winning artist. 2019, he also performed at the Namas. Vaughan Arends. Kom sing vir ons, jong.
So if you hear me speak, it doesn't really sound like I could win a Best Afrikaans award at the Namas. But I'm what they call a pavement special. Pikkie van Altwee. See. So this is a song of mine called Amen, and it won Best Afrikaans at this year's Namas Awards. Sy vaar by die trap af met haar pa se geweer. Sy stap by die voordeur uit, was voort haar geskree. Deur 'n haan of twee, dis geen manier hoe sy haarself hier kan hou nie. Dis niemand oor in die huis om te vertrou nie, want sy is hartseer. Meer as wat sy kon kou. Nou sing ons Amen. Amen. As sy hoed van sy kop af, het haar laaste brief gelees. Die tannie bars in trane uit, sy is nou hier gewees. Dis geen manier hoe julle my hier kan hou nie. Is niemand oor in die huis om te vertrou nie, want sy is hartseer. Meer as wat sy kon kou. Nou sing ons Amen. Amen. Nou sing ons Amen. Amen. jij mij helpt. De saus in je kop, mijn lief, papa breng de bel. Schiet me neer, ik wil mij, je kan houden niet. Er is niemand door wanneer hij soms te vertrouwen niet van zijn hart ziet. Dit is wat zij kan komen. Nou zing ons amen. Amen. Nou zing ons amen. Amen. Thank you very much.
Vaughan Arons, thank you very much for that absolutely beautiful performance. Now, the partnership between the two entertainment giants has paved the way for digital broadcast. We will now be led into an insert of the rebranding of the NBC van. Let's take a look.
Formed an integral part of the Namibian Broadcasting Corporation's offerings to its viewers and listeners. The first outside broadcast happened in 1981. It captured a rugby match between Namibia, by then known as Southwest Africa, and South Africa. Werner Krebs worked on the introductory outside broadcast van at the time and still recalls his excitement.
It was not our own OB. We received our OB, if I remember correctly, in 83. The first OB I was involved in, and NBC was in, SWABC at that stage was involved in, was OB at rugby for the Craven Week, which was SABC brought up an OB van on, they actually did the production for the Craven Week. We helped them. I was in the OB, but the most work that I did was editing the program for the rugby games together so that they can send them still on tape down to South Africa for broadcasting.
The van did not belong to the corporation at the time, but just a year later in 1982, they acquired their own van, which came all the way from the United Kingdom. During a popular broadcast in the mid-1980s, Piet Venter, former chairman of SWABC board, opened the Music Makers competition with a powerful message about drastic changes in broadcasting. SWABC eventually became NBC in 1990, and an OB van was used to cover the elections and the inauguration of Namibia's first president, Sam Nujoma. Simultaneously with the elections, the Betacam format, which produced even better image quality, was introduced. In 1997, the DVCam image was put into place and NBC shifted from analog to digital. The video images became clearer and the number of outside broadcasts increased. Fast forward to 2019, the OB van just got a revamped look and feel. The new OB van has been refurbished and can cater for 10 cameras. The maximum video output is 4,000, but NBC will only be broadcasting in high definition. The van is equipped with a sound booth to allow sound technicians to perform their audio mixes and give the director 4 multi-view TV monitors. OB manager Ronnie Hubbard goes into detail with the technical aspect.
We do basically every live event that is not taking place within the studios. We are responsible for the technical setup and the technical quality of the picture that is going out to the viewers at large. The handover is a blessing in disguise because it's for too long that we've been working with analog equipment and SD equipment trying to give the best picture. But now with the equipment that we've gotten, we are basically on par, and in some cases over and above ahead of other broadcasters within the SADC region, because we can do high-end productions with this.
The revamped van will be used by NBC to make sure that its mandate to educate, entertain, and inform shall be honored.
Welcome back. Now, the one thing that is not always understood is that broadcasting is an expensive business. And the hours that goes into pulling off a production, for example, such as the Namas and the upcoming elections, is an expensive and tiring business. But that is why it is so important to have good relations with other companies. And NBC's relationship with MTC has quite grown. And MTC does recognize the importance of even a company such as the NBC, so that we are in a position to educate, inform, and entertain the Namibian nation. And I think it is very important that we need to recognize just how expensive broadcasting is and how important it is to really be in a position to carry out our mandate as NBC. But the MTC brand has also become so well known over the years, made significant strides over the years, and we've seen MTC sponsoring so many events across the country, and they play quite a significant role, especially when it comes to sport in our country. So I want to take this opportunity and call up and welcome Mr. Elvis Nashilongo, the chairperson of the MTC board, to say a few words. Mr. Shilongo.
Director of Ceremonies, I shall respect and uphold all the protocols as have been observed by your good self and Mr. Ekanjo. And that is in the interest of time. We are live. Once again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And on behalf of MTC, I am honored and delighted to have you present here today as we mark a very significant smart partnership between NBC and MTC. Over the past years, as a leading telecommunications company, we have cemented and fostered long-standing relations with NBC as the national broadcaster. And therefore, we pride ourselves in being aware of the ever-changing dynamics in the information and technology sector, while managing these smart partnerships. As you may be aware, a long-standing financial trouble and recent austerity measures taken by government brought many challenges to the operations of NBC. Despite these woes, NBC remains a very important partner to MTC and other players in the ICT sector. We remain confident that these measures will positively transform the financial status of our public broadcaster. Needless to mention, NBC Television has for many years taken the message to so many Namibians and have indeed become an important part of the lives of many Namibians. After assessing the conditions of the current broadcasting equipment and analyzing possible long-term challenges this may bring, we undertook a mission to explore how we could partner and address this infrastructure challenge. After fruitful deliberations between the two entities that both have passion for quality broadcast, we found it befitting to invest in a brand new multi-million-dollar HD 4K flyaway kit. And as such, an investment would not benefit MTC and NBC alone, but so many other stakeholders. This facility is a complete 10-camera broadcast facility installed in a mobile van with full 4K HD capability that can do live events such as soccer and boxing, as well as filming of TV adverts and promotions. This equipment will further complement MTC live interactive broadcast and any other live events. Through this investment, NBC can now broadcast at least one NPL match per week live on NBC television. And that is what the viewers have been looking for. This capability will also ensure that soccer, the much watched game in Namibia, and boxing is filmed live. This equipment will further complement MTC live interactive broadcast and other, I said that already. Through this investment, NBC can now broadcast at least, I'm repeating myself, okay, my apology. This positive impact of sport and other projects driven to focus on social change is huge, and therefore should be taken to the people through our national broadcast at the best possible quality. As customer-centric company, we are pleased that viewers will benefit from this service on all levels, and we encourage event organizers to approach NBC should they wish to take or to make use of this facility. This partnership is undoubtedly a win-win for both MTC and NBC, and for Namibia, and possibly one of the most consumer-centric and smart and strategic partnership we have embarked upon in recent times. There is much more we can achieve when there is collaboration, and we look forward to even more collaborations with NBC and like-minded organizations in the future. Efficient growth is the lens through which every aspect of any organization should be viewed, and this, we remain aware and conscious of the need to enhance efficiency. We further take cognizance of the volatile economic environment we are confronted with and the impact that it has on our industry. Even in the face of this economic onslaught, we remain steadfast in playing our part alongside others as the country marches towards a set national development target. I am optimistic about these positive results in this partnership for both entities, and that is in terms of shaping greater strategic relations that are in line with our long strategic vision. Finally, I wish to underline that as key players in this industry, we must jointly adopt strategies, operations, and a culture to drive positive results. It is our hope that this partnership creates a richer and deeper commitment that we become self-sustainable businesses. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for MTC's Mr. Elvis Nashilongo, the chairperson of the NBC board. And now it is my honor to welcome our guest speaker at today's event. This is also somebody that I've worked with a couple of decades back. And even though today he is the Deputy Minister of Information and Communication, I just want to put it out there for the audience that I used to sub his stories. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for our next speaker, Mr. Engel Navatisip, to address us.
Thank you very much, former colleague, for inviting me to express a word, particularly of encouragement towards this partnership. when I was invited to grace this occasion with my presence, I was strictly informed to confine myself as a guest speaker, not as a guest speaker actually, but as an observer to this colorful event marking the unveiling of this partnership. But I felt I will not let go without expressing a word of encouragement, particularly the fact that two state-owned enterprises, two public enterprises comes together and honor that spirit of Harambee, pulling resources together in order to have this partnership materialize in fruition. It is true that when it comes to the NBC, this institution served as a very strategic and important conduit towards the translation of Angel Nawatisep from being a journalist into politics. And it was during February, to be precise, the 15th of February, 1999, when the NBC designated me to serve the Namibian nation in the Great Kavango region as the chief reporter there, where I was armed with a revolver belonging to the NBC, a bulletproof vest, a camera, a notepad, and a pen in order to cover the armed conflict between the Angolan armed forces and the UNITA bandits that had spilling over effects into Namibia, particularly the border regions of the then Caprivi and the Kavango regions. It is during that time when I had a stint as a journalist proper until March 31st, 2003, when I retired from the NBC. Now, the year thereafter, 2004, translated me directly into politics when I joined the rank and file, the community of Chumap, and became a councillor for the Chumap Municipality Council in 2004. Therefore, NBC will be recorded in the annals of my documentary, which I'm about to release in the next 2 months. And it will feature very prominently as an institution that is very close to my heart. Now I'm filled with a great sense of pride, really to be here this morning and not to make a prolonged speech, but simply to say, despite the woes and the conundrums experienced by the broadcaster, Corporate Director General and your management went out without lying back in full force to ensure that you develop ways and means of diversifying your income stream in order to cross-subsidize some of the operations that the shareholder is unable, to commit to during this economic downturn that is not only faced by us as a country, but which is a global phenomenon facing many great, even the developed countries during these economic challenging times. I just want to take this opportunity to encourage other public enterprises and state-owned enterprises to now tap into this opportunity that has been created by the MTC and the NBC collaboration, equally to come to the table and participate by bringing this open broadcasting van to their premises so that we could present to the viewers out there reality shows what happens within your institutions right there at that moment. I want to congratulate these two enterprises for being living examples towards this successful collaboration. Thank you very much for your attention. I would like to revert back to the Director of Ceremonies, who proudly recognized those times when she was supping my stories as a journalist. And I don't want to expose her because one early morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, I transmitted through the Rukavango service, Rundu, a story which both herself, Friendland, and Surya Gaumas didn't want to take ownership because it was of a very romantic nature. And no one wanted to shop that story. I remain a committed journalist, come politician. Thank you very much for creating this opportunity for me this morning. Thank you.
Well, that is quite debatable, isn't it, Mr. Navatisep? Thank you so much for those remarks from the Deputy Minister of Information and Communication Technology. And isn't it so significant what the minister said? I really don't mind to make a speech as well, but I just want to emphasize the importance of what he just said, recognizing the efforts by companies such as MTC and NBC during these difficult financial challenges that we are faced with in the country, but that we are still able, companies such as these, to join hands and come up with such a historic, significant, partnership, and that we are still able to continue to make ends meet and to continue to allow the NBC to carry out its mandate. Ladies and gentlemen, I really think it is important to give a hand of applause to these companies. Now, the moment we have all been anticipating for is finally here. This is definitely the beginning of another evolution. So much is possible now with this HDOB van. Now, the next insert reveals how extraordinary the state-of-the-art equipment will broadcast live to your television as well as your mobile phone.
As NBC, we strive to become the #1 multimedia broadcaster of choice by 2020. We bring you endless local and live productions year in and year out from the Miss Namibia joint venture. The Regional Annual Sports Awards, the Simply You Magazine Lifestyle and Fashion Awards, the Namibian Premier League Awards, the African Cup of Nations, on the street, Body with Maria Nepembe, Live music shows, the Namibian Annual Music Awards, the Namibian Annual Sports Awards, and many more to come in our ever-growing HD capacity to showcase Namibia's vibrant entertainment. NBC, it's ours. Play your part. Pay your TV license.
Welcome back. We're still coming to you live from the Vintage Country Club in Resort, where we are about to wrap up events here. Historic occasion. I would like to take the opportunity now to call upon the Director General of the NBC and the Acting CEO, Mr. Likias Erastus, to come forward, please. Come on now, let's give them a hand of applause. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will witness, first of all, the signing ceremony, the signature. So please, gentlemen, if you can just open up that file over there. And let's sign this deal. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is a history in the making. Collaboration between the NBC and MTC. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just one of the things that's very important. It has to be done to make this relationship between the NBC and MTC when it comes to this Obi van at the back of us extremely very official.
African queens, we gonna let you please. African mamas, African ladies, African queens, we gonna let you please. I'm not the average girl from the magazine. My worth is not determined by the size of my jeans. Shake and wiggle as I please, because this is me. I've never been a size 10. I've been born with my hips. African mamas, African ladies, African queens.
One can see that these two gentlemen over here are quite used to signing contracts and documents of this nature.
Wait a minute, move to the left now, move to the right now. Put your hands on your hips, put your hands on your hips. Stop!
Now, still to come up at this event, we're going to have an absolutely great performance, I'm sure, from the lady of the moment. But first, let's concentrate on this. We're also going to have a handing over of the key to signify this official partnership between the NBC and MTC. We're just going to ask you gentlemen to please cut that ribbon over there.
Take off all your clothes, put up all your swimsuit.
And then just turn it around. Ladies and gentlemen, MTC and NBC. Thank you so much. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The collaboration of NBC and MTC has over the years been smooth, and we trust definitely that this partnership will bear more moments of revolution to enhance viewing ability for the whole nation, from football, music performances. So we're looking forward to a great viewing on NBC. Now let's celebrate this moment, and the person to do just that as a multi-award winner. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Lisa Ellis. From me, Fran and Thomas, it's been a great privilege to host this milestone. We thank you so much for having joined us, and also to our viewers at home, thank you so much for watching. Pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.
Director of Ceremonies, thank you for bringing me into the sun. I don't have a horse for you here today, but I just want to thank MTC and NBC for the honor. This one, of course, is called Fantastic Sam, and it's about gender-based violence, because this is the dilemma and the crisis of the times we are living in. Feel free to move a little bit. We've come to the end of the ceremony. So right there in your chair. Semama, sema, 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 sema. Semama, sema, 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 sema. Semama, sema, 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 sema. Semama, sema. Fantastic summer. Fantastic summer. Fantastic summer, fantastic summer. Namibian men, just get with the plan. Take care of your fam, it's all in your hands. Do all you can do, just go pull on through. Do what you must do to make it work. Fantastic summer, fantastic sound. We need to be fantastic. Fantastic summer, fantastic sound. It's not about fame. Build up your name. They'll all do the same. Just stick to the game. It's cool to be kind. It's good for your mind. Just show them your sign. They'll follow through as a protector, professional papa of the nation. Protector, professional papa of the fantastic summer. Fantastic summer. Fantastic summer. Fantastic summer. We want our men to be gentle giants. We want our men to show how they feel. We want our men to take responsibility. Show the next generation that you do not touch a woman without her consent. Show your daughters and your sons that a man is a respectful, beautiful human being. Show that men, fathers, brothers, uncles are protectors, friends, teachers, safekeepers. Fantastic summer, fantastic sun, fantastic summer, fantastic sun. Now what do? Now go. Build that legacy. Lega. Build that legacy. Lega. Fantastic summer. Fantastic sun. Fantastic summer. Fantastic sun. Thank you very much. Congratulations, MTC, NBC. Thank you very much. Fantastic summer.